Your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. But before we get into our intriguing content today, please join me in welcoming our featured guest. And yes, he is a repeat offender. Welcome back, John Hammond from Visit Tennessee. I'm sorry, it's not Visit Tennessee today. John Hammond is with us. He is Hammond Inspections. Welcome, John.
Good morning, guys.
Glad to have you with us. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. Just remember that's number 2. You call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we're celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Some days we celebrate a little bit more than other days. Sour Candy Day. Okay, go for sour candy. Now, as a grandparent, one of the fun things to do with any kind of candy is give it to your grandchild. I only have one right now, one on the way. But I give it to my grandson as he's leaving with his parents. So I did get in a little trouble. I gave him a bag of M&Ms on his way out the door. Guess he didn't want to go to sleep that night. Sour candy, though, I think he likes that one as well. National Tropical Fruit Day. I'm going to have to go to Hawaii and check out. I love the papaya over there in Hawaii. National Dole Whip Day. I don't know about that one. Just give me the plain old whipped cream. And National Caviar Day. Now, here's the question of the day, because I like caviar. You ever had caviar on a baked potato? It's really good. Put it in the chat for us. If you had caviar on a baked potato, let us know. If you're listening to us live now, when I say on the chat, some of you that are listening to us on ABC News and Talk, you're probably not aware that 9 a.m. every morning we record the program and it's played on the affiliates throughout the afternoon. Josh ships it off to the affiliates to be played in the time slots. Now, just so you'll know, it's a new feature that comes on some radios. I don't know if yours is the one or not, but when we ask you the question of the day, have you tried caviar on a baked potato? And you're listening to us on radio, just yell at the radio and we'll hear you. Go ahead and just do it. So that's the concept right there. Have you had caviar on a baked potato? My answer is yes, I have, and it's really, really good. Hey, let's take a look and see what the markets are doing today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average. Ooh. Not an exciting day, it looks like, in the markets. The Dow is down 241 points. S&P 500 is down 40. The NASDAQ is down 188. Oil up 13 cents a barrel. Do I want to even talk about this? Now, my friend John here, he left California, moved to America. And, I don't know if we want to get into this because I do talk about it on a regular basis. I know Governor Newsom tells us that apparently the oil companies just don't like California, because I'm looking right now on the AAA page and California average gasoline price, $4.72 a gallon, $4.72 a gallon. John, can you buy 2 gallons of gasoline in Tennessee for that price?
Almost. It's $2.75 a gallon in Tennessee.
$2.75. So I'm looking at AAA. They show the average for the state at $3.14, and John's actually at $2.75. So Josh over there in Vegas is at $3.99. We've talked about this before, so he's probably legitimate closer to about $3.50 a gallon. And because the oil companies only want to gouge Californians, according to Governor Newsom, if you believe him, and I do not, $4.72 a gallon of gasoline here in California. Unbelievable. So I guess they just don't like us. But it is what it is. So what are we going to do about it?
It is what it is.
We are, there's a big price to pay because we've got great weather most of the time. We've got within an hour and a half. Now I'm going to ask you this, John, because I know we were talking about all the great things there are over there in Tennessee. And I know you told me, John, all these great things. So let's talk about this. I've got within an hour and a half of my house. I can be at the ocean, I can be in the mountains, or I can be in the desert. Tell me about that one, buddy. Do you have that opportunity?
Well, I can be in about 15 different states in 2 to 4 hours. How about that?
15 states in 2 to 4 hours.
Yeah.
Well, some of them are as bad as California, though, I know.
Well, no, I mean, we're in the southern parts of the states, not so bad. When you get into the big cities is where it's a lot like California. But you drive any direction, you're in a state with it. I'm an hour from Kentucky.
Okay. So you got it made there. So you can go and get good music and bourbon within an hour.
Yep. Or I can go down south about an hour and a half and I can go right to Jack Daniels.
Okay, there we go.
Yep.
So tell me some of these other things, because we have a lot of listeners and we have a lot of folks that are constantly talking about moving out of state. And you did that. You moved your family to America. I'm sorry, to Tennessee. What, about a year ago?
Almost exactly. It's been 13 months now.
13 months. Tell me a few of the things that you found exciting about being in Tennessee versus when you were in California. Give us the visit Tennessee two-step.
Well, just cost overall is significantly less, especially in schools. Sports don't cost any money in schools. Your kid wants to play football in high school. Out here in I say out here in California because I'm here now, but in California it costs $1,000 to play football. In Tennessee, it's free. The schools are so free of federal tax money. The state of Tennessee is trying to get rid of all federal tax money so they can run their schools the way they want. Property taxes are a fraction of what they are here in California. Gas, of course. Car registration. I pay $80 a year for a new truck. No smog tests. So it's just a lot of freedom there that you're not being oversighted by the government.
Unbelievable. That's it's amazing when you were telling me some of these things. I was just amazed, but it's understandable because we've seen so many people leaving California. All those things you just talked about, John, they almost sound like the reasons that Elon Musk gave for leaving the state.
Right.
We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about home inspections with John Hammond, and just when we come back, you're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets, unlocking home buyer opportunities in 2024. 7 questions you need to have answered if you're ever thinking about getting a home loan. 7 questions, and I bet nobody's ever asked you any of them. We're going to talk about all that and more. Again, reach me anytime off air, number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
As the economy slows, do you know anyone worried about job loss? At Siegel Lending Team, we offer the Home Select Loan. Think of it as a financial superhero cape for homeowners with good income and credit. It not only saves your home, but also throws a life ring to your credit score. Because who needs stress when you can have peace of mind? Let's secure your future with a smile. Visit rsrhomeselect.com. rsrhomeselect.com. NMLS 217037.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They don't tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They tell us the number you need to put into your mortgage calculator to find out what your principal and interest payment will be. 30-year conforming loan, 6.734, down a bit. 30-year jumbo loans, 7.082, down a bit. 30-year FHA loans, 6.558, down a bit. 30-year USDA loans, that's in the rural areas, generally no down payment. That one's up. And the best loan on the market for our veterans who want no money down, 30-year VA loan, 6.297. Again, you got to qualify for that one. And I used to say it was just the best loan on the market, but now you know that the Home Select loan at Geneva Financial, rsrhomeselect.com, is actually really the best loan on the market. Unless you like paying high interest. I mean, I looked at 3 different scenarios yesterday for a group I was speaking at. All of them were under 3% effective APR. And that was yesterday. So just think about that. Every day we put out a market commentary. If you want that commentary, rsrmarketminute.com, rsrmarketminute.com. We put that out as early as the data allows. Let's see what the markets are doing today. The S&P 500 is now down 41 points. Let's look and see what the 10-year Treasury is doing. That one there, if my screen will refresh here, I can get the current data. I don't want to give you old stuff. 10-year Treasury is up 2 basis points, 4.17. Mortgage-backed securities, the bond itself, down 1 basis point. That means the markets are very, very flat. Unemployment, that's the issue right now. That one, we're starting to see those employment numbers. And the Federal Reserve, I wonder if they're watching. Initial jobless claims measures individuals filing for unemployment benefits for the very first time rose 20,000 to 243,000. This is the highest level in 11 months and points to more people getting let go and then filing for benefits. The bump higher after last week's lower reading also confirms that the Bureau of Labor Statistics does not properly adjust for holidays. Does that really surprise anybody that the Bureau of Labor Statistics gets things wrong?
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
Unbelievable. Today's report also added significance because it is the sample week that includes the 12th of the month, which the BLS uses in their jobs report estimates, which is also always wrong. From this one component, we would expect some weaker job growth. Continuing claims was also released and measures individuals continuing to receive benefits after their initial claim. This metric can be used to gauge how much companies are hiring. If we see more continuing claims, you can infer that it's harder to find a job once you are let go. Continuing claims rose 20,000, 1.867 million, which is the highest level since November 2021. We continue to see signs that the labor market is weakening. We got the Fed Beige Book report yesterday was released. It's a report that takes the temperature of the economy in the Fed's 12 districts across the U.S. The latest release showed that 5 of the 12 districts, or about 42%, reported flat or declining economic growth. This is up from only 2 districts only 6 weeks ago. Clearly, things have slowed over the last month, and historically, it's been significant when this amount of districts are experiencing flat or declining growth. The last 2 times were March 2001, January 2008. CoreLogic Rental Index, they released their rental report for the month of April showing that blended rents are up 3.2% year over year, up from 3% in the previous report. Highest level in almost a year, but is still trending much lower than the rental component of the inflation reports we received which is running at 5.2%. This is only for single-family rents, but compares to the Cleveland Fed's rent index showing an increase of 4%. So long as last week's CPI report was not as an anomaly, it appears that we are starting to see shelter catch up and begin to reflect the lower shelter costs we have been seeing in the market, because shelter makes up 45.5% of core CPI and 21% of PCE. Inflation often goes the way of shelter. That is the Mortgage Minute, brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. You just need to make the call. 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. So we are, did we lose John? I guess while we wait to see if John Hammond can get back in, we chat with John Hammond. Josh, let's do a Borrow Smart segment while we wait for John. We'll see if we can do this instead of that coming up later on. Borrow Smart, brought to you by rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. So there are 7 questions everybody should be looking into and considering when they're looking at getting a new home loan. And very few ever talk about it. And we talk about this from the standpoint of us being a certified liability advisors. 7 steps. Well, we always want to talk about safety, liquidity, and return. Those are key. Now, how do we deal with that? Well, first off, the first question we have to ask is, how do you manage risk? Well, managing risk is what we're doing with the product part of of your loan. How do you manage risk? Well, are you looking at being in the property for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Why are most people looking at a 30-year fixed rate loan when they're contemplating only being in the property 4, 5, 6 years? Oh, the banks like you, they appreciate that. So, but as we start going and seeing interest rates come down, the adjustable rate mortgages will come back into play. You want to look at a 5, 7, or 10-year fixed and then go to adjustable. If it saves your family, I did this yesterday for a group, $250. If you save $250 a month over the life of a loan, invested properly, that's over $300,000 extra in your pocket. How do you repay the loan? That's obviously the payment. Want to talk about, again, the rsrhomeselect.com. If you're thinking about that one, repaying the loan, are you looking at doing it in accelerated? Are you looking at it over time? What are the risks that are involved in there? How much is available to you? Do you want to take everything that's available? There's a big difference when a financial advisor looks at your outlook. They're looking at suitability. When lending people look at your financial outlook, they look at eligibility. Why aren't the lenders looking at suitability? Right? So you want to understand how much is available to you, and are you better off taking that? I've known some folks that do 15-year loans. There is absolutely no financial logic to doing that. None. And I know, John's back, but I know in Tennessee, Dave Ramsey talks about doing a 15-year loan all the time. Well, number one, most people in California can't afford it. Second, there is no liquidity available to you if you need it in a 15-year loan. The risk becomes higher. The banks like you better because they're going to have more equity in your property in case of a disaster. So how much is available to you? How much do you want to borrow? That's another big question. Now, you may have to borrow, you may want to borrow, but how much do you borrow? Who manages your liabilities? I have so many folks, right? I was just with a group again yesterday, and one of the ladies there said that she's only got $50,000 left on her mortgage, and they pay more money down to it instead of putting money into their retirement account. Someone else said that they're paying their 22% credit cards, paying the minimum, but they're accelerating the payments on their 3.5% mortgage. Doesn't make sense. That's why you need to talk to a liability advisor. How do you protect the equity? Well, you protect the equity by making sure you've got the largest loan possible. Why? because real estate values go up and they go down just like anything else. If you've got your equity out and you've got it in safe, secure investments, maybe even treasuries, well, maybe that's going to protect the equity. If it goes down, you've already got the cash out, so don't worry about it. And discipline. How will you stay on course? Now, if you've got a 30-year loan, you have to make that payment. You don't have any choice. But if you've got as we've talked about, the Home Select, where people are paying less than 3% effective interest rate, well, you got a lot of discipline right there. I just did one yesterday. You won't believe this one because I didn't either. So he owes $450,000 on his mortgage. He's going to have it paid off in under 3.5 years with a 0.76 effective APR. And once he pays it off, he'll be able to write a check for any amount of his availability, which will be about 80% of that $450,000. Think about that concept. So pay it off in 3 years and still have access to all of it. What does that say about liquidity? That is the Borrow Smart segment brought to you by rsrhomeselect.com, rsrhomeselect.com. So we've got John Hammond back just as we're about to go to break. So it's just going to give us more time to talk John later. So I did I brought the part of the D block back into the A block so we could chat with you more. But are you still doing business here in California?
Yeah, I'm here right now doing business. A couple of my guys are on vacation, so I'm here filling in. But we're still running the company as normal. I'm just running phone calls from Tennessee, coming out every once in a while and helping out. Somebody requests, I'll come out and do some inspections.
Nobody really knows when they dial that 714 number where you're answering from anymore.
It doesn't matter anymore. You can be by the pool or you can be in another state. It doesn't matter.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, you and I are old enough to remember when we had to have a landline.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Although
Yeah.
you have a little different scenario because you couldn't have the landline out at the golf course when you're out there teaching and all that kind of stuff. So
No, but your pager would go off.
Okay. So we're going to talk to John about inspections. How about are the insurance companies wanting inspections? We'll talk to John about that one. We'll find out, is there anything new in the world of inspections? And how do inspections here differ from maybe some other states? You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We will be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio. Or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Unlocking homebuyer opportunities in 2024. There's no arguing. This past year has been difficult for home buyers, and if you're someone who has started the process of searching for a home, maybe you put your search on hold because the challenges in today's market felt like too much to tackle. You're not alone in that. A Bright MLS study found some of the top reasons buyers paused their search in late 2023 and early 2024. They couldn't find anything in their price range. They didn't have any successful offers or had difficulty competing. They couldn't find the right home. If any of these sound like why you stopped looking, here's what you need to know. The housing market is in transition in the second half of 2024. Here are 4 reasons why this may be your chance to jump back in. Number 1, the supply of homes for sale is growing. One of the most significant shifts in the market this year is how the month's supply of homes for sale has increased. If you look at data from the National Association of Realtors, NAR, you'll see how inventory has grown throughout 2024. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, you're seeing some charts, and the graph shows the month's supply of existing homes that were previously lived by another homeowner. The upward trend this year is clear. This increase means you have a better chance of finding a home that suits your needs and preferences, and if the biggest reason you put off your home search was difficulty finding the right home, this is a big relief. Number two, there's more new home construction. If you still don't see an existing home you like, another big opportunity lies in the rise of new home construction. Builders have worked to increase the supply of newly built homes this year, and they've turned their attention to crafting smaller, more affordable homes based on what's most needed in today's market. This helps address the long-standing issue of housing undersupply throughout the country, and those smaller homes also offset some of the affordability challenges you're feeling today. According to data from the census and NAR, 1 in 3 homes on the market is newly built. Again, you can see the graph. This means that if you didn't previously look at newly built homes as part of your search, you may have been cutting your pool of options by a third. Not to mention, some builders are also offering incentives like buying down mortgage rates to make it easier for buyers to get a new home. So consider talking to your agent about what builders have to offer in your area. Remember, if you're looking at built new homes, don't go there without your real estate agent. The agent there will not be looking out for you. Second, put a note on your calendar for 11 months after you close escrow to call John Hammond and get an inspection done. Why 11 months? Generally, they give you a 1-year warranty, and when John comes out 11 months later, he's going to find things that maybe should be taken care of under warranty. Just a pro tip for you. Number 3, less buyer competition. Mortgage rates are still hovering around 7%. So buyer demand isn't as fierce as it once was. And when you combine that with more housing supply, you have a better chance of avoiding an intense bidding war. Danielle Hill, chief economist at Realtor.com, highlights the positive trend for the latter half of 2024, saying, quote, home shoppers who persist could see better conditions in the second half of the year, which tends to be somewhat less competitive, and might be even more so since inventory is likely to reach 5-year highs, unquote. Creates a unique opportunity to find a home you want to buy with less stress and a potentially better price. 4, speaking of prices, home prices are also showing signs of moderation, and that's a welcome shift after the rapid appreciation seen in recent years. And again, there's a chart for that one. The modernization is mostly due to supply and demand. Supply is growing and demand is easing. So prices aren't rising as fast. They're still going up, but not as fast. But make no mistake, that doesn't mean prices are falling. They're just rising at a normal pace. You can see this again in that graph. The average forecast for home price appreciation in 2024 is for positive growth, 3 to 5%, which is more in line with historic norms. That moderation means that you are less likely to face the steep price increases we saw a few years ago. The opportunity in front of you, if you're ready to and able to buy, you may find that the second half of 2024 is a bit easier to navigate. There are still challenges, but some of the biggest hurdles you've faced are getting better over as time wears on. Again, if you have any questions, give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. So let's try again. Now, that's the Real-Time Real Estate brought to you by rsrmoney.com. Try again to talk to John Hammond. He is here in Southern California, home inspector, took his family to Tennessee, but still running a very big business here and doing great jobs for people. I get a lot of compliments on John and his team here in Southern California. How's that? How is are you seeing a lot of inspections out there, John?
In Tennessee, the market's pretty busy right now. It's a little different as far as home inspectors goes. You have to be a licensed contractor in Tennessee to be a home inspector. So there's a lot less home inspectors out there. So it means more business for us.
Nice. And are you doing a lot of the same things? I know you invented and created a lot of programs for the inspection world out here in California. Are you doing that same type of thing in Tennessee, or is that your intent?
Yeah, that's my intent. I always try to up the game for everybody else, and it makes everybody else's game go up as well. But the new thing that's going on now, insurance companies are requiring for renewals insurance inspection, where they check the roof, the HVAC, your air conditioner heater, your electrical panel, and what was the last one? I think that's it right there. And they want a written report for those items so they can put them in their file for their homeowners insurance.
So is that a completely? Are you doing that on renewals or just on new home purchases?
It's mainly renewals, because the new home purchase, if they get a home inspection, that's in that report anyhow. But they'll call up a client and say, hey, you want to renew your insurance? I need a 4-part inspection. And they have us come out and do that inspection form on a written report. So they have that file now in their system.
We have a family that we're just working with right now, and they've actually were required, the insurance company told them one of the requirements of that particular company was to have the automatic water shut off. So that's something, because of the age of the home. So have you seen that much?
No, I haven't seen that one yet at all. No.
Okay, so watch, it's coming, John. That's I didn't think I could find one that you hadn't heard of yet. That's first time for me. It was just this last week.
Yeah,
that they required it.
That will be coming down the line very quickly then.
Well, something, and I think that's a good one too, because we have so many people that have problems with water. If you can minimize that water damage, we might get some lower home insurance prices. How's the home insurance price? How does the insurance prices change from California to Tennessee?
They're about the same, but the state requires a lot more of the insurance companies in Tennessee than they do in California. So you have any damage at all due to weather, they're not allowed to cancel you or up your rates in any mean whatsoever. Even if your car gets hit by an animal like a deer, which happened out there a lot, your insurance rates don't go up. It doesn't count against you because it's an act of nature.
Wow. So how does somebody find a reputable home inspector here in California?
You Google them online or word of mouth or ask your real estate agent.
So, but what do I need to ask? What do I need to ask the inspector? Because I know some people are like me and I give one. Some agents say, well, I've got to give 3 because they think that's what the laws are. What does somebody need to be asking them if their agent gave them 3 inspectors?
Well, you want to make sure you get a certified home inspector, number one. In California, there's a lot of non-certified home inspectors. It's just going the extra mile to make sure that you're doing things properly and to code and to current codes to keep up with continuing education. Those guys are the certified home inspectors. And all 4 of us at my company are all certified.
That always baffles me when I think about the fact that somebody like me who has absolutely no ability when it comes to being handy. I mean, I don't even know what side of a screwdriver to use, that I could go and buy a piece of software and go out and be a home inspector tomorrow.
A lot of people even don't use software. They just do it on some paper and write it up and give it to you that way. But yeah, anybody in California can be a home inspector at any time.
That, and that's someone's their biggest purchase, and they, it baffles me a little bit.
Yeah, and the part-time guys too. I have a lot of firemen and police guys go, oh, I like to do it on the side. I'm like, you can't, because you have to keep up and you have to keep the momentum going and doing a home inspection to keep learning constantly. I take a week off for whatever reason. My very first inspection, I got to stop and think for a second. Okay, where am I at now? I got to start over and remember my routine.
That's a pretty interesting concept, because I do know that, in fact, I don't think I've ever known of a firefighter who didn't have a second job just because of the way their work schedules are. And I know that I listen to our processors and our underwriters and my team, and it's all a system. They go basically down. I guess they go down a checklist or something. I don't know how they do it because they're good, but I'm guessing you do the same way. Is you start off in the same room every single time and work your way through.
Yeah, I have a certain way on my computer. I have a list, but I don't always go by that order. I go by what I'm feeling in the house, and I start from point A to point B to make sure we don't miss anything.
Interesting. That's fascinating how that really works. So when you're doing the inspection, what is your motivation there? Is it to make sure that you're finding every broken light socket, or are you really looking for the major issues? What should I expect from the inspector?
My main, as a personal myself, is safety issues. Number one, I don't want anybody to get hurt. I don't want any kids to get hurt. So broken receptacles, light socket, yeah, that's pretty key so people don't get shocked. I want to make sure that the air conditioner heater are working properly so we need carbon monoxide poisoning. I want to make sure that the water heater is functioning properly so there's no issues with hot water, with the carbon monoxide blowing around from the hot water heater. So safety is our biggest concern, number one.
Interesting. We come back. I want to chat with you about an issue, and we'll talk about it when we come back. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That's my message, and I will be delivering it every day at Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990. 800-306-1990. John, you got the head of your fan club is watching right now, so you better be good. Melissa's on the line. So, hi, Melissa. Glad to have you with us.
She hasn't seen me in a couple of days, so she gets to see me right now.
Okay. I'm not going to even go there because that can only get me in trouble. Okay, so had a client lady that we were helping last month, and they never realized that her HVAC wasn't working. How could an inspection not real? Actually, there's HVAC and furnace both. How does an inspector miss something like that?
Well, it could be a couple things, but maybe he didn't test it. Number one. The other thing is I've had issues where I've done the inspection and a month later it stopped working. That's what we have home warranties for. But typically, somebody didn't inspect it, or it just broke down due to the heat that we have out here right now. Stuff breaks. It's like a car. You can pull a car off a lot and it could break down a couple weeks later.
So are the insurance companies using your report as a baseline for the home insurance and home warranty?
They're not supposed to, but they're doing it more and more often now. Yes.
Interesting that they're not supposed to. I had never heard that before. I didn't know that part.
Yeah. On our reports, it says that it's exclusively for the buyer, not for insurance purposes.
Ah, okay. So, but then again, that's something that you're talking about on your end, because you had said earlier that you don't even have to have a software for it.
No, you don't even have to have a home inspection if you choose not to have one.
Not a good idea. What are your thoughts? Because you probably heard me in the earlier segment where I was talking about new home construction and setting that 11-month time frame. Do you do much of that?
Yeah, I get a lot of phone calls for when they want it done when the construction's finished, but sometimes I'll tell them to wait the 11th month because you have a 12-month warranty on any house in California on any defects. So if we come out the 11th month, write a report, you can turn that over to the contractor, and then they'll put it on their list to come out and do the repairs. As long as they have it before that 12th month, they will get the repairs done.
So it almost sounds like you're better off having that done in the 11th month instead of having it done prior to close of escrow.
Yes, because when you do your walkthrough, you take some blue tape, painter's tape, and you mark up all the things that want to be completed before you move in. And then things break, things get adjusted, things settle. So it's better to come back after you've lived in the house for a little while and then write the report. And also, the homeowners live there for a couple of months, so they have some ideas what's going on in the house as well, and they can let us know so we can put that in the report.
Great stuff. What are your thoughts about I've thought about this many times. I don't know if we've talked about this on the show or not, but right now, one of the big things out there, cars are getting so expensive, and you see these certified pre-owned cars, and it's basically they've gone and done a massive check of the car before it ever hits the lot. What are your thoughts about doing a pre-listing or pre-inspections?
Yes, I'm doing one tomorrow in the city of Anaheim for a client. So I'll go in and do the inspection before they list the house. Couple things, they can get some issues fixed, some big issues fixed, and also they can give that to the buyer to show, hey, in good faith, I had an inspection done, I had these issues fixed, feel free to get your own inspection, and it shows some honesty and some openness there.
Interesting. And so when you come in for something like that, do you have to have the whole house cleaned up, or what's the story with that?
No, typically as it is, as long as I can access the things I need to access, it's not a problem, because people have to live, and you don't know how long it takes to sell your house. You don't, always keeping a clean house helps, but live in the house the way you do, and let me do the inspection.
I'm going to put you on the spot, John. I love doing this. Not putting you on the spot, but one of the most fun things that we get to do on Ron Siegel Radio is story time. So give me an idea. I mean, because you've done, I don't know, hundreds or thousands of inspections. What are some of the most unique things you've come across in your tenure?
A lot of drugs.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of drug issues. That's kind of going away a little bit. Not so bad. I did a home inspection with agent out in South Bay, and I didn't like the house. The house kind of had this dungeon kind of thing in the back, and I told her straight to her face, do not come back here alone again. Make sure you're here with somebody at all times. I don't trust this place. Her husband at the time was a SWAT member in the South Bay. He Googled the address, not knowing where she was at, and they did a raid on that just a week before.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, that was a crazy one.
That does sound crazy.
Yeah.
So are you guys I know in the schools that some of the school teachers and whatnot, they're mandatory reporters. Are you guys mandatory reporters also?
We are not. I have done that one. I've done over 6,000 home inspections. One time I had to make a phone call only. Usually I'll pull somebody aside and say something, but one time the conditions were so bad that I had to call somebody. Yeah, it was not pleasant.
That's pretty crazy, isn't it? I mean, so drugs and calling SWAT on somebody.
Yeah.
Or having a SWAT house.
The SWAT house, yeah.
That's amazing. So so let's go to the other side of the coin. What's the nicest things that you've seen or nicest areas you've been in and done properties?
I've done a lot in LA for a lot of movie people and TV people. And I did one for a lady who was on one of the housewife shows. And on the show, she was not a nice person. But in person, when I did a home inspection, she grabbed me by the arm and said, come on, honey, let's go find some stuff. And she was the nicest lady, one of the nicest ladies I've ever met on a home inspection. But on TV, she was not nice.
That's interesting, because you would think that, because those are supposed to be reality shows. They're not supposed to be staged, right?
Yeah, a little scripted there, yeah. But I've done lots of movie stars' houses, and they're amazing. They're so much fun to do. It's an all-day project, but it's truly a pleasure. So
when you do those, do you do them yourself, or do you go in with a team of people?
It depends on the house. A lot of times, Melissa and I will go in together. Melissa and I did a house for a very famous singer, and he's a young guy. I didn't know who he was. I had no idea. When I got home and told my daughter who he was, she almost fell on the floor. But he was the nicest guy in the world. But we go over with a little bit of team just for time concerns, so we're not there all day. We don't want to take up everybody's time. We want to do a good job, get in and get out at the same time. Make sure we're very thorough.
So your daughter probably wanted to go and be the assistant on that one.
Yeah, she has a couple times, but yeah, on that one, she lost it. She didn't care for not being on that one. She really wanted to be there.
So much for the young people, right? They've got. She's gonna carry the clipboard for you, John, or carry the computer.
Sometimes she carries my computer. Yeah, absolutely.
So how long does it take to get a report back once you've finished the inspection?
Same night. I usually have it done by around 10, 11 o'clock that night. So you get it back right away because we're on a time constraint. Especially nowadays when you don't have like 7 days to get the inspection done. By the time you schedule it, third, fourth day, I get the report back the same night.
And are you doing it yourself, or do you have assistants that do the work, or how do you?
We all do our own reports. That way there's nothing forgotten. You send something over, there's always something missing in translation. You forgot to write something up, but when you're going over the report, you remember things, you add things, take things out. I always require my guys to do their own reports only. So
for somebody like me who, like I say, I have no idea even how to use a screwdriver. I don't know which end of it to use. How do I interpret your report? How do I know what's serious, what's not serious, what's what I should pay attention to, and what I should ignore?
Yeah, our reports are very layman's terms, lots of pictures, and we color code the severity of the write-up. So if it's a safety concern, it's going to be in red. Hey, this needs to be fixed right away. If it's something that just needs to be corrected, it'll be in blue. Go, hey, we need this corrected. Here's the picture. This is what it is. And I'm always available to my clients anytime they have a question. I don't care if 6 months down the line. I've had people call me years after inspections asking me questions about how things need to be fixed. My phone's always on for my clients.
So we don't have to worry the fact that now that you're living in America and not here in California, we can still get a hold of you.
Yeah, it's only a 2-hour time difference. It's not a big deal.
How often are you out here?
I'm trying to get out here about once a month. I was out here a few weeks ago for 5 days. I'm out here this time for 9 days. So come out, if they want to schedule something, I can always come out. It's a 3.5 hour plane ride. It's not too bad.
I guess with with even just for the gas money you save every month, you can afford the plane tickets.
Yeah. Well, there's several airlines now that have passes where you can get a pass, and it's very inexpensive to fly now.
Really?
Yep. Frontier has a pass for $600 for 6 months, and you can fly as much as you want. You pay for your seat and tax and luggage, and that's it.
Wow. Okay, so now we're going back to John and Visit Tennessee with his 6-month pass.
6 months. Yep.
Is that and that's not real expensive to do that?
No, it's like $600 for 6 months.
And is it a decent airline, or is it?
It's Frontier. It's Frontier. They go into Orange County.
Okay, so makes a lot of sense. So I could actually get a 6-month pass to go and visit you.
You come out at any time. We got a room for you.
I appreciate it. Thanks for spending some time.
When we moved out there.
Say again?
That's one of our requirements when we moved out there, to have space for friends.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, if you want to get some more information from John Hammond, I really appreciate you spending some time. I know you've got limited time while you're out here, and I appreciate you coming and sharing some time with us. If you want to get information on inspections with John and Melissa, give me a call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Hammond Inspection is the name of the company. Again, give me a call. I know how to find them. And as always, I ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean who are engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
My boss just pushed me over the limit. I'd like to call him